Friday after Friday after Friday. I hate to bring you good news because it means I can't do what I'm supposed to be doing during these segments, which is talk shit about a bad movie. But the streak of really low-budget genre movies that are way better than they deserve to be continues this week with Chronicle, directed by Josh Trank, from a script by Max Landis, who is the son of John Landis. Even though the genre is getting a little bit tired, I mean, how many really more found footage documentaries can we stand? Apparently a ton. Apparently this is just now the way that movies are going to be made if they cost less than $50 million. And we're just going to have to live with it. But if they're made with as much attention to detail and humanity and focus on character detail as Chronicle, maybe I don't want this genre to go away completely and die. Chronicle came to a bunch of people's attention a couple months ago because it had a really good teaser trailer that looked like it was maybe some teens footage that got really weird. It was branded in this really kind of subversive, alternative reality way where was it a documentary, was it a movie, was it a video game, nobody really knew. And it's a really smart found footage superhero movie in which three friends, one awkward, one slightly less awkward, and one really popular, are given superpowers, telekinesis, and they can fly and crush things until one of them becomes evil and the other two must stop him. The film is smart enough to actually spend a bunch of time rooting that evil in teenage angst, an abusive father, a bad home situation, social awkwardness, you get picked on in high school, and as a result, you become a crazy super villain. The film is about as good as a found footage documentary can be so far. It's actually a much better film than its nearest predecessor, which is probably a film like Cloverfield, and it was made for way, 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 way cheaper. And that's because it focuses on character and story more, but it also addresses the idea of why all of this stuff is being filmed. The main character, who is the villain, the film functions basically like a diary of the genesis of evil, is recording himself to partly protect himself from the psychic damage that he's receiving from his abusive family and people in high school. And as it grows into him wanting to document himself because he's feeling this nascent growing power in him and he wants to communicate that to people. And it's got all kinds of interesting echoes out there to like video bloggers on YouTube, people that record themselves saying their opinions and then share them with however many people watch them. It's smart, it's well acted for the most part, it's got a really good script, and the climactic battle scene, the last 10 or 15 minutes of the movie as the cousins smash each other apart over downtown Seattle, is as viscerally exciting an action sequence, a climactic battle scene in a film as I have seen in years. I liked it a lot more from an action point of view than I liked, say, the latest Mission Impossible movie even. And even though it was made for 1/10 of the price or 1/20th of the price, it was a nightmare probably to storyboard because it's cut together theoretically after the fact by the film's editor, who would have gone around and collected a whole bunch of people's iPhone footage or police car dash cam footage or news chopper footage of the battle, because the whole thing's cut together from eyewitness points of view. But they did a really good job, and it's really powerful for not much money. The film's kind of spiritual predecessor, I guess you could say, that if you don't want to watch Chronicle, and you should, but if you want to see where it came from, or a film that's like it, that was also made for basically nothing, you can watch instead a Belgian film from the early 90s called Man Bites Dog. It's shot in black and white, I think on 16mm, and it was made by film students. The film eventually got a Criterion release, which is amazing. The idea is that it's a fake documentary where these 3 or 4 documentary filmmakers follow around a real honest-to-goodness serial killer who has no problem doing his business of serial killing on camera and giving kind of off-the-cuff soliloquies about death or architecture or music or whatever. And it's based on a really kind of charismatic star and on the kind of interesting idea that we're developing at that point into a culture where we have no problem living out our lives on camera. And Chronicle is kind of the cap, or maybe the midpoint, as cameras become even more ubiquitous on that evolution of our lives living in public. Chronicle's got a really neat final scene as they kind of have a battle, and one of the characters is using his telekinetic powers to shoot their battle as he's fighting the battle from 30 different cameras that are floating in the air above him. It's a really kind of not so subtle, but certainly smart and interesting take on our, eternal and universal desire to be in the spotlight. And I say that from the literal spotlight that I'm using in this studio to talk to people I've never met on the internet.